Bhavati Gunasandha Patamam Ramachandraha Tapaswadhyaya Shishrusha Krishna Puja Latambanim Vishvesha Mishtadam Vande Parivrat Chakravartinam. So, from past 2 days, we are celebrating the Sri Ramayana's, Valmiki Rachita, Sri Ramayana's glimpses. So, today also, we have a best authors, knowledgeable persons here to address us. So, before moving forward, I request to preside the stage. So, with the permission of Srinivas Murthy sir, so I request Sunder sir to come and address us. So, little bit background of Sunder sir. So, as he is giving a glimpses of Ramayana about the self-management and social management skill in Ramayana. So, when I went through his biodata, so I found really he is he took all the skills of management from the Ramayana. So he is working as he worked for SAP, Wipro, Hindustan Levers Limited, Visa, Infosys. Currently he is Resolve company. He is he is taking care of it. So I request Sundar sir come and give the information of his topic.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. It's an honor here to be presenting some aspects of what I have learnt from the Ramayana. Since, first of all, I'm very delighted that we are having this international seminar on the topic of Ramayana itself. Ramayana, I think, was relevant, is relevant, and will always be something that is very relevant. In such a seminar, typically it is a tradition to invite noted scholars to come and present their perspective. But I think an exception has been made in my case to not invite a scholar but to invite a student of Ramayana. I think I'm a student of Ramayana. There are many scholars who can present much better perspectives on Ramayana than myself. However, there's one thing that I would like to say. I've been very privileged to be taught by some of the best teachers on the different aspect of Ramayana and Mahabharata all my life. Secondly, I think I've had the opportunity being in the information technology sector for many years, and now as a CEO of a company, I have viewed a lot of things that have happened in my own life, in my career, in my organizations, through the lens of Ramayana. So Ramayana is something which is always probably playing in not only in the background of my mind, but also in the background of everybody's mind. It is something which is there in every part of our country. And there is no part of our country where Ramayana is not spoken about, is not thought about in one way or the other. My father was an officer in the Indian Air Force. So we've had the privilege of literally looking at the length and breadth of this country. I think there was no states no state in the country where we have not gone. We might not have seen the whole state, but we have seen many parts of it. But there is never a single town, single village where there is not a temple of Hanuman. And that rare privilege and that honor is given to Lord Hanuman because he is the servant of Lord Rama. And that's the honor that he has got because of that. So with that, let me start with giving some perspectives on self and social management skills in Ramayana. When I first thought about it, I said, look, I think it's all about how much you know, how much you believe and act towards Dharma. If there is a one-line summary of what Ramayana really stands for, it is to know, believe and act towards Dharma. Because Dharma, if it is put in a cage and nobody practices it, it remains a Dharma and slowly it will become as something which is irrelevant, which is unfortunately what is happening with the society today, because we believe whatever Ramayana teaches is too high a standard. Now, everybody cannot be Lord Rama, everybody cannot be Hanuman, everybody cannot be Lakshmana, everybody cannot be a Kaikeyi, everybody cannot be a Dasharatha. Fortunately, we are also better off that we are not Ravanas as well. But having said that, what is important is that even if we can take one or two aspects of Ramayana and get it into our life, probably we will be better off as human beings, as professionals, as teachers, as fathers, mothers, and members of the society. So I will try and give you one or two examples from my own life, which have happened recently, where based on the lessons that I got from Ramayana. Now, why this topic is that I think I have got the simplest topic in amongst all the topics, because the whole purpose of Ramayana is to teach self-management and social management skills. The purpose of why Rama took avatara is to teach people about how people should conduct themselves as a father, as a son, as a king, as a brother, as a husband, and as Sita as a wife. What is Dharma and what should one practice? So if in one way I have got the simplest topic, because whole Ramayana is about it, I can dip into any page in Ramayana and I will get points to talk about here. But on the other hand, it can also be viewed as a very tough topic, because I will have to recite the whole Ramayana to support whatever I have done. So if you look at the whole concept of Ramayana, it can boils down to one thing, that the onus of making the world what it is, Namma Vishwa yen ivatagide, adu, if it has to be, we have to place a responsibility of that. It is everyone's responsibility. All of us, in our own way, make the world what it is. We all have a contribution to it. Secondly, no impact is big or small. You just look at it. Every discovery, every intervention, every invention, every law, every constitution, every small step of ours makes the society what it is. We are what we are today because of somebody's contribution. And our society now, whatever we call it as our society, is nothing but a culmination of individuals and the beliefs. It is individuals, it's all of us in this room and many people outside this room who make the society what it is. So society is not, we always view society as outside us. No, we are a part of the society and we contribute in many ways to make it what it is. So what I have tried to do in my life, in my career, is to view Ramayana as a playbook and as a workbook. So all of us are used to workbooks, right? We have all been taught. What is a workbook? How is it different from a textbook? Textbook is theory, whereas workbook is what you have applied out of and learnt and applied in real life. And I may not have applied everything in my life, but what I have tried to do is to observe how some things could have been very different had people adhered to the learnings of Ramayana. So before I start, I'd like to thank all my gurus, Shri Shrikantacharya Bayari, who is a part of the Poornapragna Samshodhana Mandiram. He's here with us. Srinidhi Pyati, who is again member of the Poornapragna Samshodhana Mandiram till now. He's the principal of Shri Vyasatirtha Vidyapeetha in Mysore. And Dr. Anandatirthachar Nagasampike, who helped me actually prepare for this session. And lastly, Dr. Vyasankara Prabhanjanacharya, from whom I have learned the Shastras for almost 35 years now. So with this, I want to give you a quick glimpse of what I'm going to share in the next 10 minutes that I have, which is to say that when you're looking at unpeeling the Ramayana, imagine Ramayana as a lotus, and if you're trying to unpeel the lotus, how will it be? The first thing is about family as a unit. We look at each one of these things. Leadership and the profound impact leadership has on all of us. The impact which is on everyone and everywhere. Ramayana doesn't talk about one town, one kingdom. It is talking about everybody. It's talking about men, women, people who are grown up, children, animals, different types of animals. There is a squirrel who is mentioned. There is a dog which is mentioned. There are millions of monkeys who participated in the Dharma war. There are bears, and virtually everybody who has contributed. People of all caste, communities, all find a mention in Ramayana. It is the most wholesome treatment of the society that you can take. No part of society is not mentioned. Every character has a certain place, and everybody plays a character in Ramayana. So doctrine of accountability, very important in our self-management, is how we take accountability for whatever we are doing. Then spirit of law being greater than the law, the doctrine of empowerment, and lastly the doctrine of judgment. So first let me get into the first topic, which is whenever we are talking about self-management, how do we look at the family as a unit? Unfortunately today, we never look at family as a unit where a lot of things are born. Look at the whole story of Ramayana. What did it start with and how did it end? It's all about different families. If you look at the family itself as a unit for Dharma, then it takes a different turn. Just imagine what happens when Kaikeyi fails as a mother. She is a person who has failed as a mother by making a very unjust request or virtually an order to her husband to nominate her son as the king and not get Rama, who is a designated person to be the king in every single way, is supremely qualified for that role. He doesn't give it. So she fails as a mother. Then you see how things go from there. Similarly, look at Ravana. He fails to listen to his own brother. If he had heard Vibhishana, probably he wouldn't have taken the path that it did. Right? And because of Ravana, nobody else believed in the war except him. The army had to lose. Anywhere you look at this, Ramayana presents the perfect brother, the perfect elder brother, the perfect younger brothers, Bharata and Lakshmana and Shatrughna, all standing as model behavior about how brothers should be within themselves. Similarly, look at the relationship between the father and the mother, a father and the son, the relationship between the son and the father, and so on. So I think it is high time that when we are talking about Dharma, we should say, like charity, Dharma also begins at home. So let us view our unit, our home, as a place where we'll start Dharma. Not look at somebody, some external organization to start this whole concept of Dharma. Second thing is leadership and the profound impact of leadership. Whenever there is a leader, he has tremendous impact on everything. If it is a country leader, he has tremendous impact on the country, not just for the time that he is ruling the country, but for several decades after that, you can feel that impact. So Ramayana tells you what are the ideal leaders and what are the skills that ideal leadership should have. I think the beginning of Ramayana tells you what Ramayana is all about. It is about pursuing the path of Dharma. It is about pursuing the path of what is right. And if everybody in the society does what he is supposed to do, then this will actually become the perfect society that we are in. That's why it's called Ramarajya. The society, the concept of ideal society is because the leader is none other than Rama, who is actually driving it towards Dharma. Whereas Ravana, on the contrary, is the other opposite example, where as a leader, he doesn't care anything other than his own lust. There is no other reason he should have waged a war. It did not fetch him anything extra. He lost his kingdom, he lost all his brothers, he lost his entire family and lost his life finally. Whereas Vibhishana on the other hand tells you what leadership and how profound that impact is. And as I said, Ramayana is about impact for everyone and everywhere. Every part of society has to have Dharma. What we see oftentimes is that why do conflicts come in a society? Conflicts come into society when there is an imbalance in the society. When one part of the society is getting certain things, whereas the other part of the society is suffering. That is when the conflict starts. And the smaller the number of people who are gaining and larger the number of people who are getting affected, it leads to a revolution. You can see any revolution that has happened in the past, it has always followed this trend. So Ramayana tells you that as a king, you as a person who is leading, you have to ensure a positive impact that is happening everywhere and to anybody. The next thing is on doctrine of accountability. See, the moment you see the picture, whenever you say who is responsible for this, everybody is pointing fingers at somebody else. It happens everywhere, right? Just now the power went off. Everybody is saying, oh, who did this, right? So somebody goofed up somewhere, and we say that, which is fair. I think we want to find out how it happened and how it has to be fixed. But what happened in Rama's case? The previous evening, he is to be anointed as the king. Early morning he goes, and there has been a big fight which has happened between Dasharatha and Kaikeyi. On one hand, where she has asked that, Bharata should be made the king, turning the whole event, the future of the kingdom, upside down. Everybody is upset. Everybody is crying. So early morning, Lord Rama comes and he sees that everybody is upset, everybody is angry, everybody is crying, and everybody is angry and they are not able to speak. They are so upset and emotionally charged that they are upset. Lord Rama enters that particular place and he asks a question, did I make a mistake? Why are you also upset? Did I make a mistake? Right? This is the doctrine of accountability, where you are the first person who is saying, have I done something wrong? What is our natural instinct? Whenever we go, there is a problem, says, Yaar yen madadru? Who did this? Who did this itself means someone else did it. I am not responsible for this. Right? So it's a very important lesson for us. In management, if you want to be a leader, you have to take accountability. If there was something right, something wrong, you are responsible for it. The buck stops with us. If we want to be good leaders anywhere, even in a family, there will be some people who take the responsibility. They may be young, old, doesn't matter. They become natural leaders. Leadership is about taking accountability. And if we don't take accountability as individuals, we will never be adhering to the Dharma. Right? There is another story which happens in, again, Ramayana. All the monkeys, we know the story, so I will not tell you that. All the monkeys are waiting. They don't know what to do. Hanuman is the leader. They are not able to find goddess Sita. Sugriva has told them that if you come back without searching for these guys, without searching for goddess Sita, I'm going to kill you. That's what is called Sugrivagni. So he has given that. So now what do? All the monkeys sit together and decide, look, we are not able to find her. So why don't we all just sit here? Let us eat a lot of nice fruits, food, everything is available. And let us all relax. Let's not do anything. Right? The moment you say that, do you think anybody will agree? Disagree? There's a choice between, let us say, you've got to do some work versus going and watching a movie. If that is discussed, what will everybody say? Well, let's go for a movie. Do you think anybody will oppose it? Nobody will oppose it. But Hanuman says, it is not possible. You are undermining the power of Rama and you are undermining the power of Sugriva. They will find where you are. They don't think you can hide. Second thing, you have been given a task. That is the doctrine of accountability. We will find and we will do that. So a leader, again, does what is right, not what is nice. So there is always a conflict between what is nice and what is right. So the job of the leader is to make things what is right. Right? So Hanuman says, nothing doing. We will all work towards getting success in finding Goddess Sita, and finally we know what happens. They do find a solution because they work towards that. Had they all decided to just stay happy, there is a joke which somebody says, in the parliament, every bill that is presented, that is always contested. Opposition parties will say, no, we don't want this bill, or we want certain amendments. Right? There is only one bill which gets passed unanimously. Which is that bill? Exactly. Increase of parliamentarian salary. Nobody opposes that bill because it's nice. How many people get up and say, you know what? We are overpaid. We don't do any work. Half the time we are walking out. We don't deserve it. We have done nothing. Please take out how many days the parliament was supposed to run, how many days it has actually run, and how many days I have attended. Give me my salary based on my attendance in parliament. Has any parliamentarian in the history of India, we are 75 years old today, has anybody compelled that? No. Because it's nice. It is not right. So I think at any given point in time, we always have this choice and make it the choice. The spirit of the law and the law itself. You can keep on writing any number of laws, but they will not work in an environment where there is adharma or people want to cheat. What happens in a court? You look at any court case. What happens in that case? The fight is not between what is the law, is this the law, is not that. That is not the fight. The fight is in the interpretation of the law. Right? So when Rama was asked to go to the forest, see how many times people have told him, why do you have to adhere to this? Who is this KK? To hell with her. You need not adhere to that. But he wants to adhere to the spirit of the law. So first person to deter him from doing that is Bharata himself. He says, forget it. My mother wanted me to be the king. I am telling you, I don't want to be the king. You become the king. So therefore, he's sticking to the spirit of the law. Then what does Rama say? No, it is my father's wish that I go to the forest and not be the king. So therefore, I will not be the king. Same thing happens later. Again, Guha does the same thing. He says, why do all this? You become the king of my kingdom and you rule this. He says, no, it was my father's wish that I go to the forest and not be the king. So therefore, he doesn't accept any of that law. So the spirit of the law is greater than the law itself. Because no law is foolproof if the spirit of the law is not understood. So we always have to understand why, how we can adhere to the spirit of the law. Then is the doctrine of empowerment. Then I will close with one more slide after this, which is the doctrine of empowerment. I think it's very important that we look at whom to empower, how much to empower, and how much and where to draw the line. Ramayana has very valuable lessons in self-management on this. You should know whom to empower. Lord Rama empowered Lakshmana, he empowered Hanuman, he empowered Sugriva, all to that extent. They are not equal. Because somebody like a Hanuman does not need those lines. He understands those guardrails very clearly. Whereas somebody like Sugriva also has to be empowered, but he has to check. With Hanuman, he doesn't have to check. With others, you have to check. So if you want to be a good manager, you should know. My boss used to say it very well. I trust all of you, but I will check. So we used to argue with him. No, if you are checking, then you are not trusting us. He used to say, I trust you, but I will check. He will say that very calmly, and slowly we understood what he meant. He trusted all of us. He never distrusted us. But he said, the ultimate responsibility of making something a success is mine. So I will check. So it's my duty to trust you. It's also my duty to check. Right? So you have to have that doctrine of empowerment. Just imagine if Kaikeyi had drawn that line with Manthara. What did she say? Manthara is my well-wisher. Manthara is your well-wisher to that extent. You should have listened to her to that extent. The fact that she wanted you to be the Rajamata is natural. She is from your Maika or your mother's place. So she does have your she's your well-wisher. She wants you to get that post, no doubt about it. All of us, all our people, all our family members want, like my family members probably want me to be getting a higher position. But am I eligible for it? Right? And does the organization empower me and say, okay, this person is capable of this? So Kaikeyi's advice, they should have been drawn a line. Had Kaikeyi told Manthara, thank you, you have given me a great input, but sorry, I am not listening to you. Again, look at the doctrine of empowerment. What did Rama do? When Vibhishana came from Ravana's side to join, what did he do? Everybody said, don't take him. He's the villain's brother. Do you think he will let down his brother? He's going to leak all our strategies. He's his brother. There is no proof that this person is a genuine person. But who gets up and supports him? Hanuman supports him. And he says, all of you have not seen Vibhishana. I have seen Vibhishana. So therefore, immediately Rama decides, Rama is Sarvagna, he knows, but he wants proof. Tomorrow nobody should tell him that, why did you do this? Right? So therefore, as a leader, you should have that sense of judgment, which is my next point, saying what is right and what is wrong. There is a beautiful sentence used by the former President of United States, John F. Kennedy. He said, why do we elect parliamentarians? Why do we elect people who are there to represent us? Do they have to consult us on everything? Suppose there is a bill which is being presented. Do you expect your parliamentarian to call you and say, should I vote in favor or against? No. Once we have elected that person, we are trusting their judgment to do the right thing for us. That is why a company, when it appoints us in a particular role and a position, they are trusting us with judgment. There is no way you can check every action of mine. But what is definitely possible is, if you have the right people and you use the right judgment and empower them to use the right judgment, then the company, the organization, the society as a whole will improve. So these were certain aspects of Ramayana which stood out for me. And let me just close with a couple of anecdotes regarding taking accountability. Once what happened, I was the marketing head of a company, and that company was going through a PR crisis. There was some report saying that 2 people had resigned, very senior people, and Economic Times wrote a question to me. I was the marketing head, so I had to answer. They said, is it true that these 2 people have resigned? Please confirm. So I got all the leadership team members together and say, how should we respond? Should we say, yes, we agree or we disagree? People say, you should say, you deny this. Just say you deny this. So somebody came and said, please write, you vehemently deny this. Vehemently means forcefully deny this. So when I was writing the answer, I felt adding a word vehemently will only spark the rumors. Second, it's Economic Times. They have decided to write the story. Whether we agree, we don't agree, they are going to publish the story. So tomorrow morning, next morning, I knew this will be the headline. So I didn't put the word vehemently. Right? If I tell you this is white, why should I say vehemently I am saying this is white? There is no need. This is white, we all know it. So I didn't see the reason. In fact, you will all get a doubt, why is this guy saying vehemently? So what happened next day morning, they carried the story. And everybody was, agitated. But this person who had said I should write vehemently, he said, why didn't you put the word vehemently? It would have cut the story. I said, nothing would have cut the story. But then I thought, how should I handle this? Because when I was on my way to the office, I will enter the office, I will enter the main meeting room, and all these people will be waiting to pounce on me, saying, why didn't you do what we should do? So just then I had read in this story in Ramayana about Rama asking this question, have I done something wrong to upset all of you? Right? So I went there and I just said, before I start, I want to tell you that, look, this is what happened. And somebody did suggest that we should add the word vehemently. I did not do it. So if any one of you believes that by adding that, this story would not have come out, then I would like to apologize. the first reaction of everybody was, no, don't worry, even whatever you would have said, they would have still published the story. Let's focus on how to get the story back on track. How can we start positive messaging about our company? So immediately the focus went away from me and blaming me for it, and focusing on the situation. Had I gone there and said, look, what I did was right, then probably people would have adopted me. Second story, and I will close with this, is what happened was that I was introduced as a member of the Prime Minister's Digital Innovation Council. It's a 4-member committee which is required to make a recommendation to the government on what should be the digital roadmap for India. So whatever you are seeing as Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Arogya Setu app, Digi Yatra that many of you might have used, lot of digital initiatives of the government. I am a part of that 4-member team. So once what happened, we were told you have to come to Delhi for 2 days. First day you will discuss amongst yourself. Second day the Prime Minister will come. So you have to present to him what your recommendation is. So the meeting happened, and first day we went on discussing till 12 o'clock in the night. And then suddenly what happened, we all were very tired, and we all wanted to go home and sleep. We asked somebody, when we are looking at when we were looking at this whole aspect of the Prime Minister, we were told that on second half of the day, the Prime Minister is going to come. So we said, okay, it is still evening, so we were all, we have got time in the morning, like we do school homework, Adashtu, do it in the last minute, do it in the school bus, do it after when the prayer is going on. As much as possible we will push. So why don't we do that? Because we were all genuinely tired, and I am the youngest member of the team, so you can imagine how old the other people were. We were all very tired. Then we said, I somehow felt, but they said, look, whatever time the Prime Minister comes, you have to be here at 8:30 and you have to get ready. I don't know, there was something telling me that we should do that in that night itself. And I just closed my eyes, and there was one line of Sri Vyasaraja which comes to my mind, which says Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnayam Samshayachidam, which says that Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya will clarify all doubts. Now what is the connection between Mahabharata Tatpar and Ramayana is very well known. Ramayana is actually covered in 9 chapters within Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya. So this story actually comes in that Ramayana part of Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya. So Samshayachidam happened. So then I said, okay, what do I do now? Then I remembered the story of Lord Hanuman making the right decision and not the nice decision. What is a nice decision? The nice decision is to say, yeah, all of us will go home, go to our hotels and go to sleep. Tomorrow morning we will see. I said, no, let us work next 2 hours. Some people were enthusiastic, so we sat down and we made the whole presentation. We kept everything ready and then we went. Morning we all came at 8:30. We all sat down and they said, where is the PPT? We said, here it is, but we have time till afternoon. They said, no, Prime Minister is coming in the next 10 minutes. And before we knew what it was, Mr. Modi walked into the presentation hall and said, where is the presentation? And everybody then looked at me, and because only I had the presentation. So somehow the presentation was ready previous night and we could present to the Prime Minister. Imagine we were not ready, and that too with a very, very, very hard taskmaster that our Prime Minister is. It would have been so bad. We were the senior most people whom they have trusted. We are all consultants. We are supposed to be working on top of the officials to make things happen. And if we delay, what a bad thing it would have been. So I remembered, Ramayana, Mahabharata are very big things. They're such large stories. But if each one of us can take even 1 or 2 things from this and try and apply it in our life, I think we will all be better off than what it is. So I'm very, very happy again that the Ramayana conference is happening. And these were the 7 lessons that I wanted to talk to you about. And in the future opportunities, as I was telling all of you, it is a norm to invite big scholars and very learned people like all of you to participate in this conference. But our dear Acharya also thought that, in a meal, if everything is sweet, it's not good. You should have some bitter things also, right? It will give the importance of day. So from morning, from yesterday and tomorrow, you're hearing very scholastic applications of Ramayana. But I think he gave me this opportunity to also hear some stupid people like me also think, because in Ramayana there is mention of Hanuman, but there is also mention of that little squirrel which comes in the part of Ramayana. So thank you all for this opportunity. Here are my contact details. I thank all of you for hearing me so patiently and look forward to more interactions and listening from the other people. Thank you. Namaste.
So I really thank Sunder sir, and Ramayana is, so we got to know that it is not about something we should worship. It is there some skills which we have to adopt in our life. The peels of a lotus. So the amazing lectureship. So I thank Sunder sir